Hi, good day. My name is Patrick. I'm here to discuss part 1 of engineering and consumer psychology. First on our list discuss is consumer behavior definitions. So the first definition you can see is that consumer behavior is the study of when, why, how and where people do or do not buy a product. It basically depends on the psychology of the consumer. It attempts to understand individually and in groups. It studies the individual consumers such as demographics and behavioral aspects to understand the people's wants. So in layman's term, consumer behavior is the study of the consumers on how they can understand their target market wants. Second definition is in the study of consumer behavior, main focus is the customer satisfaction because customers is the only person with whose presence businesses actually exist. So highlighted above is the consumer satisfaction. To put it this way, consumers is like the heart. It pumps the money to the body, which is the business that helps it to function. So business must pay a lot of time and effort on their consumers. Let's move on to the types of consumers. As you can see in the figure, it is centered in the word buyer. A buyer can be anyone and from all ages. But in this figure, it shows that a buyer can be broken down into four types, namely consumer, customer, institutional buyer, and to help understand the figure, here are the definition of those words. The first is consumer. According to the International Dictionary of Management, consumer is a purchaser of goods and services for immediate use or consumption. Second is the buyer. He is the person who purchases goods either for resale or for use in production or for use of somebody else. Third is customer. He is the one who purchases goods for his own use or for the use of others, or else he is a regular customer of a particular product and he is a regular customer of a particular shop. Lastly is the institutional buyer. These are either government institutions or private organizations. To sum it all up, consumers are the ones that buy things for their immediate consumption. Buyers are the wider definition. They can be anything that buys. Consumers are those who buy for them and for others. Lastly, institutional buyers are the buyers from either public or private sector. Next is the characteristics of consumer behavior. So it is the process where consumers decide what to buy, when to buy, how to buy, where to buy, and how much to buy. It comprises of both mental and physical activities of consumer. Consumer behavior is a very complex and dynamic which keeps on changing constantly. Individual buying behavior is affected by various internal factors like his needs, wants, attitudes, and motives, and also by external factors like social groups, culture, status, environmental factors, etc. Consumer behavior starts before buying and even after buying. So those what I've said were some characteristics of consumer behavior. Some of you may ask, is it a need or important to study consumer behavior? The answer is yes. Here are some reasons why. First is to make better strategies for increasing profits. Second is to take into consideration customers' health, hygiene, and fitness. Third is to know the buying decisions and how consumer make consumption. Fourth is consistent change in consumers' taste or preferences. Fifth is consumer behavior study is necessary to make pricing policies. Lastly, it's to avoid future market failure. In this, you can see the types of consumer behavior. So, there is complex, dissonance reducing, variety seeking, and also habitual. There is also the topic about buying motives. According to D.J. Duncan, buying motives are those influences or considerations which provide the impulse to buy, induce action, or determine choice in the purchase of goods and services. Now we go to the four types of buying motives. The first motive is the product and patronage. Second is emotional and rational. Third is inherent and learned. Fourth is the physiological and social. So we now go to the first motive, which is the product and patronage motives. Product and patronage motives are divided into two, which is the product and the patronage. Under product is the primary and secondary, and under patronage there is the price, quality, location, services, variety, personality of the owner. We now go to the second type of motive, which is the emotional and rational. It is also divided into two, which are emotional and rational. Under emotional is the love of others, social acceptance, vanity, recreational, emulate, comfort and convenience. And under rational is the monetary, efficiency, and dependability. The third type of motive is the inherent and learned motives. Inherent motives are those which come from physiological and basic needs such as hunger, thirst, sleep, etc. If these motives are not satisfied, then consumer feels dissatisfied and feels mental tension. Second is the learned motives. Learned motives are those which are learned or acquired by a person from environment and education like social status, acceptance, fear, security, and etc. Lastly, on the type of motives is the physiological and social buying motives. Physiological motives are those which are driven by learning, perception, or attitude. Second is the social buying motives are those which are influenced by the society in which the consumer lives. In this figure, it shows the theory and reality in consumer buying. Factors influencing consumer behaviors. There are lots of factors influencing consumer behavior. One of these factors is the psychological factors. Psychological factors are those consumer needs and motivations, perception, learning, beliefs and attitudes. Another factor is the social factor. Social factors are those reference groups, role and status, and family. There are also cultural factors, which is about culture, subculture, and social class. There are also personal factors, which are age, stages in life cycle, occupation and economic status, lifestyle, and personal. There are also economic factors, which are personal income, family income, income expectations, savings, liquidity positions, and consumer credits. The last factor is the environmental factors. These are political situation, legal forces, technical advancement, and ethical considerations. Market segmentation. So market segmentation is essentially an identification of subsets of buyers within market that share a similar needs and demonstrate similar buyer behavior. So segmentation is how a market groups certain services to hit the consumer's needs for that certain services for easy access and classification. There is a process of market segmentation. The first part is the market plans their strategy on how to segment. The second is after planning is they decide on what the segmentation is based off. The third part is after deciding they select variable for segmentation. This is how the market access their customers. Fourth process is the profile segment. It is where the market analyzes what customers to be assigned in their market. Fifth process is to evaluate segment attractiveness. And the last process is to select the segment. After discussing the process of market segmentation, we now go to the objectives of market segmentation. Its objectives is to understand the needs, wants, desires, and buying habits of customers. They also want to formulate marketing programs for each consumer groups according to their nature. They want to develop new products according to the consumer's changing needs. They want to expand market and market share. They want to provide satisfaction to consumers. And lastly, they want to make the marketing strategies and policies consumer-oriented. Next is the product differentiation. The product differentiation is the process of distinguishing a product or offering from others to make it more attractive to a particular target market. So as we've discussed, product differentiation is very different from market segmentation. Product differentiation focuses on production, and market segmentation focuses on the consumer. Product segmentation focuses on product differences, while market segmentation focuses on group customers. Product differentiation attempts to match the demand with supply, while market segmentation attempts to match the supply. Product segmentation aims at facing intense competitions, while market segmentation aims to focus on demand. Product segmentation concentrates on large market, while market segmentation concentrates on limited market. So as you can see, there is a really big difference between product differentiation and market. There is also a criteria for successful segmentation. These are the substantiality, identifiability, measurability, accessibility, responsiveness, homogeneity, and profitability. We are on the topic of market segmentation. These are the advantages of market segmentation in both the market and the consumer. Let's start with the advantages to the market or the firms. It increases its sales volume. It helps to prepare effective marketing plans. It enables to take decisions. It helps to understand needs of consumers. It helps to win competition. Makes best use of resources. It achieves marketing goals. It's specialized in marketing. It creates innovations. And lastly, it produces higher market share. Let's move on to its advantages to the consumers. It is customer oriented. The quality of products are reasonable prices. And other benefits like discounts, buy one get one free, customer become the winner. Thank you for watching my discussion. Part 2 will be discussed by my colleague J. Lord.